Hey fam, I'm so excited to share the DFM super budget template with you. In this video, we are going to be doing a complete walkthrough and tutorial of this template. Now, if you haven't snagged the template yet, please do so by visiting the link in the description box below. And if you already have it open and ready, well, let's get started. This template was designed to give you options of how you want to budget. So you can use a simple template, or you can use a super template that has even more data. The idea behind the redesign and why I built this super budget template is because I wanted to give you more control and more data to just see what's going on inside of your finances. I also included several debt and savings trackers that you'll definitely want to check out, and we'll go over in just a second. So when you open up your budget template for the first time, in order to start editing the template, and I get this question a lot. Actually, I get a lot of emails requesting access to start editing this template. This is the master. You cannot edit the master, or else everybody's going to see your numbers and nobody wants that. So what you're going to do, if you have a Google account, so if you have a Gmail account, you're going to click File and then make a copy. You're going to copy over to your own Google Drive and then make sure that you can start editing it. Alternatively, if you do not have a Google account, you can click File, Download, and then you can download as a Microsoft Excel sheet. So really, the two big things here is Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets. You can also download as a CSV and plug it into Apple Numbers, what comes like basically Apple's version of Excel, and using it in Numbers. So let's go ahead and take a look at this first sheet. The first sheet is just giving you a step-by-step instructions of how to fill this out, starting with the financial inventory sheet, which has all of your numbers basically to help you organize everything. Then you're going to take a look at the yearly glance, so figuring out how much money you're spending in the year. And then we're going to take a choose your own adventure approach. You can either use the simple template or the super template. The super template has more charts and features, whereas the simple template gets you straight to the point. I recommend, if you've never budgeted before in your entire life and you've never used a budget spreadsheet in your entire life, start with a simple template. If you're like, I kind of know what I'm doing, but I want to test something new and fun, then I would go for the super template. So you're going to record exactly what you know first. A lot of people know how much they're paying in rent or mortgage. A lot of people don't know how much they're spending in things like restaurants or shopping. When you don't know how much you're spending in one particular month, that's when you're going to do a spending audit. A spending audit looks at the last 3 months of spending for a particular category, and then you're going to take an average of that spending and use the average to accurately plan for that particular expense. So if I thought, oh, I only spend $100 on restaurants, but then I do my spending audit and I see I actually spend like $500, woo, then I'm going to use that $500 as my plan, and then we're going to challenge ourselves to back off of that $500 spending budget if we want to, in order to reduce costs and do it in a realistic way. Then you're going to add in your debt payments, and then at the end of the month, you'll add up all your income and expenses into your spreadsheet, and then you'll start planning for next month's budget. And you can do so by duplicating the previous month's budget. Now, I had you duplicate it because I didn't want you to be filling out the same planned information, because a lot of our planned expenses don't change month to month. So anytime you need to duplicate your budget, so if this super budget template, and what I like to do is I like to label it so I'm very clear about what month this is for. I'm going to label this November monthly budget. And if that's the case, let's do that. I also like to double click inside of the tab, and then I'll put November here. And then I'll fill this out for November. And if I want to duplicate, you click this arrow, click duplicate, and then you're going to get a copy with basically all the info that you've already filled out. And now I'm going to make December's. Got it? All right. Let's go back to financial inventory. This is the first sheet. The financial inventory sheet is a way to organize all areas of your money in one single sheet. So the first area is just getting an idea of your monthly income over the last 6 months. Do you have to fill out 6 months? No, you could probably do 3 months, especially if you're salaried. And make sure you're counting your partner, your significant others, your spouse, whatever, your person that lives with you and does finances with you or should be doing finances with you, include their income as well. We want to see what that average looks like, especially for those who are making inconsistent paychecks. Next, you'll want to do your fixed expenses. Now, ideally, you're going to get this from your monthly budget. This is going to include any fixed recurring expenses month over month. Rent, mortgage payment, groceries, food only bought at grocery stores. Very clear on that. Utilities, electricity, gas, water, trash, internet, cell phone, any car-related expenses or transportation expenses. If you live in an area that has really good public transport, you'll want to include any kind of public transport pass that you pay for anytime you are using transportation to get you to and from your areas of work, home, anything like that. So you're going to include that as fixed expenses. Discretionary expenses includes all of the fun stuff. So subscriptions, restaurants, clothes, shopping, beauty enhancements, entertainment, concerts, that sort of thing. You may not know this. And honestly, if you have been budgeting for a long time, this will be very quick for you to fill out. Getting an average of these things is really going to help you budget in a way that is realistic and natural to say, okay, yes, I really do spend $300 on shopping, so that's what I need a budget for. Your net should be either 0 or positive number. If it's a negative number, it means you overspent in the month and we have to make some changes. This is creating some awareness. Next, you'll want to fill out your savings table, include the bank name, your current balance, what type of account is it? Is it a high yield savings account, traditional savings account? What kind of interest rate? What are you earning in this account, if anything? And any notes like what is this account for? Include all of those things for savings type accounts. Next, you're going to fill out the debt table. I've included a drop-down menu for you to select what type of debt you have. The lender or the company name. So if it's, for example, a credit card, your lender is going to be Discover. And then you're going to put your current outstanding balance, the minimum monthly payment due, when it's due on, the interest rate, if any, and any notes. Some people take on a 0% interest card, but it's only available for 0% for the next 24 months. Add the due date of when that term expires. Next, you're going to add in any type of investments. The account type. So is it a 401k? Is it a taxable brokerage account? You want to add those things into your investments, who it's with. Is it with Vanguard? Is it with Fidelity? Add in the amounts and the type of funds that you have. It could be a mix, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, any of those things. Your rate of return, so what is that rate of return is expressed in a percentage. How much are you earning inside of those investments? Any fees, if any? And then notes here, is this with an old employer? Do we need to transfer this over at some point? Just to give you a better understanding of where all of your investment accounts are at. And then lastly, you're going to fill out your assets. Assets are anything of value. So this typically is a house or cars, but you might have fine jewelry or art, maybe home furnishings that are worth a lot of money. Maybe it's something else entirely. Maybe it's an RV. If that's the case, if you need to add a different type, you can always click the drop-down menu and then click that little pencil, the edit button, and then you can add another item. RV, done. Apply to all. Now it's listed here. Got it? As you are adding in some of these things, this is automatically going to update for you. So all of your assets, the things that you own, all of your liabilities, the things that you owe, equals your net worth. Assets minus your liabilities equals your net worth. So now you're going to kind of get a brief understanding of how all that works. Now that we have taken a look at the financial inventory sheet, let's hop over to Yearly Glance and check that out. So what you're going to do is, this is basically set up like the monthly template, except you're going to get an additional column that shows you what you're paying in each of these expenses in a yearly view, and then also a percentage of your annual budget. So you may, and you can change these. So if it's not $2,500 that you're paying in rent or mortgage, and let's say it's only $1,500, you can make those updates. Just make sure anytime you're making updates to this template that your percentage of your annual budget is equal to 100. You're gonna also fill out all of your debts, what your monthly payment is, and then it's automatically going to calculate the yearly payment. So if you go up here into the formula, up at the top, if you see a formula listed, don't mess with that cell unless you want to mess with the formula, which I don't think you do. So everything's already tallied up for you. I'm also going to note down here at the bottom, even though your debt table is up here at the top, you're actually going to see it grayed out here at the bottom. Again, don't change this unless you want to mess with the template at all. But the reason I did that is so that all of these percentages can add up and be kind of in sequential order. Google Sheets likes to do pie charts in sequential order, so you're not messing up the accuracy of this chart. This chart shows you how you've spent your money in the year. It tells you the percentage allocations of what budget categories and how the money is being dispersed. So you can see here, 24%, if you just hover over the chart, 24% went towards debt, 35.7% or 36% went towards rent or a mortgage payment, and so on. So this is just another way to show you, if you're a visual person, to show you exactly how your money is being dispersed throughout the year. Let's hop over to the simple template. The simple template is based on the free budget toolkit that everybody has access to. So you're gonna have your monthly budget, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna add any of your debts, just like that. And then you're going to add your minimum monthly payment amount. You're gonna gather this from those entities. You're gonna log into your accounts and add that in. What you actually paid, even though your monthly minimum payment for the city card might be $24, maybe you're doing $50. Okay, so you're gonna continue to add in these numbers as much as possible so that we get a very accurate picture of where things are. Your total debt is how much you owe in this particular debt. So maybe you owe, $4,500. The DD right here is the due date for each debt. So again, in any of the monthly templates here, what I like to do is I like to just say, January budget. This is my January budget, and the due date for the city card, I looked it up, it's the 14th. So now I know January 14th is when that payment is due, and then when I've made that payment, I can always just do a little X, I can do a check mark, whatever to tell me that I've already paid it. You're also going to do the same thing for your different budgeted categories. So the rest of this table are the main budget categories that I have listed out. I find when I break it down into these 4 subcategories, it just makes it really simple for me. So I have my fixed, so anything that I pay for that are bills that are recurring, such as rent, mortgage, cell phone, electricity, gas, utilities, car related expenses, all of my fixed expenses that I know I'm going to pay for every single month, regardless of what happens. Then I broke it down to a subcategory called fun. So these are all the fun things, all the discretionary spending. So these are the nice to haves, the restaurants, shopping, clothing. If you want like hair and nails as a category, you can simply just go down here and do hair and nails. Let's say you're big into Lego. I had a client who was really big into Lego, which I loved. So you just see how I highlighted the row? I'm doing this so fast. Okay, highlight the row, and then you're gonna click insert one row above or one row below. I like to do it in the middle of each section so I keep the formatting nice and pretty. And then I just add Lego, just like that. Now, if you want to copy the percentage, so in the gray area, if you want to copy the percentage, all you have to do is hover over in the lower right hand portion of the cell and then click and drag down to copy that formula for that particular cell. So then you're going to get a percentage of how much money is going towards something like Lego every single month based off of what you are bringing home. So in this template, I put $10,000 for your planned monthly income. That's really for maybe couples who are both mid to high income earners and they're putting their paychecks together. Maybe yours is something different. Maybe it's $8,000. Maybe it's $4,000. Whatever it may be, add that into your planned spending. When you go to actually do your budget, you're inside of the month of January, what you're going to do is you're going to zero out the actual here. You're going to see this error come up on the percentages. That's okay. It'll correct itself once you add in your actuals. In your actual, you're going to record your actual pay stub amounts or any side hustle income that you might be earning, anything from a partner that they might be bringing in. What I like to do is I like to hit the equal sign, and then I'm gonna add in that paycheck amount plus my partner's paycheck amount plus my side hustle income as I see it coming into my checking account. Hit enter to let that actually sum together so that you can see how this is shaping up. You can also edit it from this top formula cell right here. So in the beginning of the month, you're going to add what you plan on spending for each of these categories. So at the end of the previous month or at the very beginning of the month that you're budgeting for, you're going to add in those things. $2,500, maybe this is $60, internet is $70, electricity. We've done our spending audit where we're taking the last 3 months and averaging that. Our electricity bill has been averaging about $165. So again, you're just gonna go down the line and then put out your planned spending. When you actually go to pay for those expenses, and you can do this at the end of each month. If you're brand new to budgeting, I would be doing this multiple times a week, and then you can get into a weekly cadence after that. When you go to actually make that payment and that payment has cleared, then you can hit in the actual column, I actually did spend $2,500 on the mortgage, and oh, the electricity bill was actually less. It was $125 this time. So see how you can do that, and the expenses are automatically tallied up here at the top. You're going to see 2 additional columns here. The sinking fund columns and how much you have total, if you've spent from that, or how much you have. A sinking fund is a way where you can save monthly for different savings goals. So I may have a sinking fund for, let's say, shopping. And I want to contribute $100 every single month towards my shopping sinking fund. Even if I don't spend $100 in the month, I still want that money to roll over to the next month so that in 5 months I have $500 saved and I can go on a mega shopping spree if I wanted to. Whenever you spend from those sinking funds, you can make a note of it here and say, okay, I spent $25. Notice how in this gray area where it says sinking fund total, I now have a negative $25 balance, and I'm going to hit $100 here so this all evens out. So I planned on setting aside $100. I actually did set aside $100 by transferring it into my savings account. I spent $25 from my shopping sinking fund, and now I have $75 left in my sinking fund that I can then roll over to the next month. Anytime you see these gray zeros in the sinking fund total, that's where I suggest that you could have a sinking fund. By no means are you required to. I'm just giving you some ideas of how you could work this template to your benefit. So that's fixed. Fun. Fudge is all of those miscellaneous things where you're like, I don't really have a category for this. So I'm just going to add it into this miscellaneous or buffer. So typically I like to do maybe like $100 buffer in order to even out any discrepancies or weird budget categories that I don't normally have in the month. Future includes all of your savings goals. Typically, this would include an emergency fund, maybe a vacation fund. Again, the vacation fund is a great sinking fund to have. I love using that as a sinking fund. Maybe you're saving for a new car, or maybe you're doing outside investing with after-tax dollars. Do not include any 401k or 403b contributions because those are pre-tax dollars in which that's taken out of your paycheck before you actually receive it. So anytime you're doing outside investing, this would include like a taxable brokerage account, 529 plan, a Roth IRA. That would be included here in the future section. Speaking of pre-tax and deductions, I've included this table over here for you to get an idea of how much you're paying for all of these contributions from your paycheck every single check and every single month. You can also include the year-to-date contributions. You can get this information from your pay stub. Kyle had really wanted to know this information. He's like, what am I paying for in insurance? And it was really interesting when we started writing it down and keeping track of it, of how much we've been spending in different types of insurance and retirement. And so it just helps you understand exactly where your money is going. And if you need to make changes during open enrollment or changes to your insurance plan, you can see where that money, how that money is reflected. As you're filling in your budget template, you're going to see a little summary start to pop up of how much you're spending in each of those major subcategories, including the debt. So you're going to see fixed, fun, fudge, and future, and then of course your debt payments, and a nice little easy to read summary chart right up at the top. We've also included a notes section at the start of the month. What do I know in the beginning of this month that may be different? Maybe it's my aunt's birthday. Maybe I've got like a holiday coming up. Maybe there's like a 3-day PTO I'm taking. Anything that might impact the budget that I want to take note of. Maybe your car insurance premium is due. We want to take a note of that. At the end of the month, we can record any wins, any obstacles or challenges, or what we want to focus on for the next month. This is a breakdown of how to use the simple template. And if you're like, okay, I've got this, I've mastered this, we can move on to the super template. Okay, so I had started filling this out. The super template is different. The biggest difference in the super template from the simple template is instead of recording your transactions inside of the actual column here, again, if you see a formula, do not mess with it. There's a reason for that. That's because the biggest difference is you're going to record all of your transactions using this daily expense tracker chart down at the bottom. So you're going to see I've included a lot of different line items here. If you need more cells, all you need to do is you can actually highlight a bunch of rows here. So what I did is I highlighted a row by clicking on the number, press and hold shift, highlight another area of the row to highlight the entire section. I'm going to right click or double tap, and then I can insert 9 more rows above. And so now it's added even more, and you're going to see maybe the formatting didn't translate, but all I can do is click and drag the merge cells, and boom. Now I've got more cells to work with if you need to add more transactions. So anytime you have a transaction that you want to record for the super template, you're going to use a daily expense tracker. You're going to add a description of what you might see in your credit card statement or bank account statement. Maybe you went to Chick-fil-A. The category would be restaurants. So I'm just typing into the cell, but you can actually click this arrow and then you can scroll down and look for that particular category. It's already highlighted restaurant, so you're not going to see it in the drop down, but maybe it was household. And then maybe it was something else, so restaurants. Then you're going to record the amount. How much did it actually charge you? How much did that show up? Now you're going to start to see things automatically start to adjust inside of your budget. So now we're going to record $17.16 actually spent in the restaurant category, and then it's going to show you a difference of what you planned on spending, what you actually spent, and the difference. So let's say our restaurant budget is $350 in the month. Now you're going to see that adjust, and then you're going to see the difference, what you have left to spend in the month. I think this is like a really, really cool feature to show you. Very quick and simple. I can even access this sheet from my phone and I can see I have $332 left to spend on restaurants. You're gonna still fill out the planned section just like you did with the simple template. So we're gonna include the rent or the mortgage payment, the cell phone, the internet, you know, all of those good things here. And then when you actually make those payments, when you pull up your credit card or your bank account, you're going to write down when that happened. So let's say it was on the 15th. Let's say if it was the 15th, there we go, of January. Then we say electricity. Again, you can click enter for a quick way to highlight this drop-down menu, highlight electricity. And then let's say it was $135 this month. Now you can go back up at the top and see it's been recorded as an actual payment and you have a $30 difference here. Now you're gonna see this div error formula. That's because we still need to include our paychecks. So you can include paycheck 1, 2, and any side hustle income. You can also do like my income, significant others, income. And so then I'm going to say, okay, I'm bringing in $5,000. They're bringing in $6,000. And then we don't have any extra income. And then I'm going to record what we actually brought in. And maybe they only brought in $5,000 this time. Okay. And then you're going to see those percentages start formulating here in the right-hand column. You're also going to see this review. This is kind of a more souped up version of that summary table from the simple template. So you're going to review the income summary, the expense summary. You're going to see all the different numbers actually listed and the balance left over. Okay, so we covered the summary of income, the fixed fund, fudge, and future, and you're recording all of those expenses inside of your daily expense tracker. You're also going to do this for any debt payments that you make. So let's say we have a Discover credit card, minimum monthly payment is $110. The due date is on the 24th. We've got a 24% interest rate with a total debt balance of $3,456. Then when we actually go to make the payment for that Discover card, we can say Discover CC payment if we want to. Then you're going to see how the drop-down menu actually went ahead and automatically updated from Debt 1 to Discover CC. So you're going to highlight that. And let's say we put $200 towards that. Now you're going to see this summary chart has already auto-updated for you, including the expense summary. And then you're going to see that actual monthly payment amount recorded here at the top. So gray cells, do not mess with. Any cell that has a big old weird formula in it, do not mess with. If you need to add a sixth debt here, here's how I would do it. So what you're going to do is you're going to highlight the row. You're going to double tap or right click, insert one row above. Now this should copy over the formula, and if it doesn't, and it did not, all you're going to do is click the row above it to drag and drop down to highlight and create the new formula. And because I'm super type A and want all of my lines to be nice and clean, I'm just going to drag and drop down to make sure those are nice and clean. Looks great. You'll notice this actually got all wonky. So what I like to do is I just highlight the sections of the rows that I want to move up, and then I'm going to grab it with the hand. I'm going to move it up just like that. And this I can click unmerge, and then I'm going to highlight the table how I want it to merge cells. And now I've got this nice, pretty little table again. Boom. See? It takes a little adjusting if you're adding new cells, but I find that this is the best way to still keep the functionality of the tables without messing up any of the formulas. Go back and rewatch that section if you want to see how I did that one more time. You can do the exact same thing for any of your budgeted items here. If you need to add more fun lines, you just do the exact same thing by highlighting the row, adding a new column, adding a new row, and then copying and pulling down those formulas to make sure that those formulas are also copied over to the new row that you created. You're also going to see for the expense tracker, I want to pull us over to the expense tracker table. This is where we can include anything like Netflix, gym membership, Disney Plus, maybe we use the Calm app. You're going to add all of those things here. Our budgeted amount for each of these things is where you're going to add that in. How much is the Calm app anyways? I think it's an annual subscription, but you can budget for it every single month. So let's say it's $6. When you go to you fill this out, you're gonna see that these subscriptions have actually been updated as a total here. So you're only going to see one line item inside of the fund section for subscriptions, but inside of the subscription tracker, you're going to see every single one listed here. When you go to actually make those payments, you'll record it under the subscription tracker. So $15 was what you actually paid. Gym is what you've actually paid for that, so on and so forth. Usually subscriptions are pretty regular unless it's a new year and then they bump up the price. You're going to record all of those transactions right there, and then it's going to show you how much you actually paid for in subscriptions right inside of your budget. Okay. The way that you use sinking funds inside of the super template is you are going to add your planned sinking fund amount into the planned section. When you go to make a transfer, you're going to record that as transfer to savings. You're going to do shopping, because that's what the sinking fund is for. And you're going to put the $100, and now it's going to show your actual was $100 of what we set aside. The sinking funds total you'll have to update manually. I like to do the equal sign and then just hit, $100, or you could hit equals whatever this cell says, and then you'll have that sinking fund total listed as a part of your budget. You'll want to make sure that you're updating that sinking fund total for every single new month as that sinking fund total rolls over to the next month. All right, so we just covered sinking funds. I want to show you the same thing the SIMP template provides, which are those pre-tax deductions. You're going to list that here under this table. You also can see the contribution amounts, health insurance, life insurance, your retirement, your investments you can add in as part of your paycheck. So 401k, 403b, maybe you have a flex spending account or a health savings account. You can include those balances here month to month to keep track of. I've also included quick cheat sheet of instructions of how to use this bad boy, but of course come back to this video and rework it every single time, and don't mess with the gray boxes. Up at the top, you're going to see this money left over. This is going to change as you fill in your budget, as you fill in your daily expense tracker. Your checklist can include it works the same way as like the notes feature. At the beginning of the month, I need to make sure that I've filled out my budget, I've gotten proper estimates for new home repairs that I'm wanting to have worked on for this month. At the end of the month, you're going to list any wins, challenges, obstacles, or things that you want to work on for the next month. You can also label any events if you have a birthday going on, mom's B-day, If you have, obviously for November, Thanksgiving, any notes that you want to include, like probably increased grocery budget because of Thanksgiving, that sort of thing is where you can add that. Once you've got this filled in, you've got everything done at the end of this particular month, that's when I would copy over so that you don't have to rework all of this stuff and like retype out, discover, CC, whatever. That's when I would duplicate and make this your December monthly budget, and be sure to update it up at the top and in the tab. Okay, so that's a look at the super template. Now let's take a look at some of these debt trackers, because I think this is really, really fun. So I've created one for student loans. You're gonna see this last updated. So this is the last time you've gone in and updated this for yourself. So just for your sanity, you're like, when did I last update it? You can just mark here. There we go. You're also going to list out any of your account names. If you have federal student loans, you'll most likely see them in groups. So group A, group AB, group BC, whatever. You can actually list out every single federal student loan that you have. So we can do student loan AB. We can say what the starting balance is, the minimum payment is, when is the due date, what's the interest rate on it. And then as I've updated this here, if you scroll down to the bottom, each individual student loan has its own table that shows you what the current balance is. And again, if you see any kind of formula up here in the formula section up at the top, don't mess with it. It's going to automatically update based on what you put in the white area. You're also going to see how much you've paid in total. It's going to show you your total amount of debt, and then any unpaid debt that you still need to take care of. So amount paid and the current balance. You will see this across the board for every student loan that you enter. So we've included a lot because I know people have a lot of little student loans that add up over the course of their time in school. So that's student loans. Credit card debt tracking, same kind of situation. If you have multiple credit card debts, you're going to see them automatically populate here. So let's say I have that Discover card, I have a Capital One Venture, I have Chase Freedom, and they all have balances on it. So you can go in, update your balances, and it's always a good idea to say I last updated this on today's date, whatever it might be, so that you know the next time you come in, oh, this hasn't been updated in several weeks. I need to do that. So we're gonna do this, minimum payments, and now you're gonna see these auto-populate down here at the bottom to show you. Now what's interesting is you can add for every single month that you're making payments on this, you can record how much interest has accrued and then how much has been paid on that particular card. So you could say, in November, interest accrued was $89 and I actually paid $245. So now you're going to see all of that adjust here so that you get a percentage of how much has been paid. This visual is really going to help you stay motivated on your debt payoff plan to show you, okay, I'm getting there. I'm making progress. I can see that visual circle just continue to close in on that debt balance. So this is a really, really cool feature. Same with your car loan. You're going to add it for your car loan. I hope you don't have like 8 cars. We just copied this over. You can do this for your car loan. And then lastly, your savings tracker. So the savings tracker works a little bit differently because we're going to see how much we've saved, how much we haven't saved, and then any interest earned. So I went ahead and included an emergency fund as a savings account I'm working towards. The starting balance is what you have to start with. What's your goal amount? And then your monthly savings amount. So you're going to see all of that updated right here. Then, same as the other charts, like if I want to do a vacation fund, I have $0, but I want $5,000 in here, and I want to put $250 into this goal. Then you're going to see, and this percentage right here is the interest rate that you're currently earning on that savings account. So it may just be a flat 4%. Now you're going to see it auto-populate into this second table here, and then we're going to record in the month of January how much interest we earned and then how much we saved in that particular month. So we could say we did $250 and we earned about $20. And then you're going to see how your savings has increased over time just by using this tracker. I think it's a great visual to show you exactly how many savings goals that you might have. Okay, we covered a lot. I hope you're still with me in this tutorial. It's a lot to digest, but it was meant to be a robust system for you to not only track your monthly budget, but to track your debt, to track your savings goals, to track your overall financial picture and your net worth, how much you're spending in the year, so that you feel organized in one file. You have all of these different sheets to help you on your financial journey. Please let me know if there's any questions or concerns that you might have. You can drop them as a comment or reach out to me on Instagram at Debt Free Millennials and send me a DM. I hope this tutorial was helpful. Thank you so much for downloading and using this template. I can't wait to see you just crush all of your financial goals and build up that financial confidence, and I'll see you next time.